Ready? Okay, we will do that again. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
All right. Welcome to the final meeting of the, excuse my cough, of the 2024 New York City Charter Review Commission. My name is Carlo Shasura. I've been thrilled and honored to serve as chair of this commission. And I will state my third charter commission, which is exciting. And let me thank all of you for joining us today. Before I introduce our commissioners to say a few words, let me thank my dear friend Linda Johnson, President and CEO of the Brooklyn Public Library, for hosting us today. Yes, if you haven't had a chance, you should walk around the building after. There's been some incredible renovations and it looks phenomenal. In just a moment, I'm going to ask each of the commissioners to introduce themselves and say a few words about their thoughts on the process, their feelings on the report, the ballot proposals, and anything else you'd like to add. Let me start by sharing my thoughts on the work of the commission over the last few months and on the proposed final product that we shared on Tuesday and that we are going to consider today. First of all, let me clarify, because I think there was some confusion. What was shared on Tuesday was a proposed final report. It is not final until the commissioners vote on it. So I know there were some questions about that. It has been, I think, an amazing process, an amazing journey. As I've said, I've done 3 of them, and each one has been different. Each one has brought unique perspectives. Each one has brought different cast, so to speak. I can tell you this has been the most diverse commission I have served on. And diversity, not just in the way we look or who we pray to, but diversity in our experiences, diversity in how we came to being civic leaders and community leaders, diversity in where we come from, diversity in how we think about the future of New York. But I think in all of our diversity, we share one common goal, and that is we want New York City to thrive. We want New York City to be safe, and we want it to be a fair and equitable place for all people to be. And that, to me, if you ask what is the most striking part of this commission, is just that. And I am very honored that I got to lead such a diverse group of thinkers, of people, of strategists, and I think of New Yorkers. And New York equals diversity. New York equals talent. New York equals people with big visions, big ideas, people who have gone through, as we say, the spin cycle of life. And somehow we manage to get up, dry off, and come back. And so I want to take a moment to applaud my fellow commissioners because you are all amazing. Let me now talk about the staff. You know, this group of individuals were given a task a few months ago, and a daunting task, a task of putting together a series of hearings and meetings, of listening to the diverse voices that I just talked about, and of coming together and pulling in how many pages is this? A lot. 200, a lot of pages, right? A report that reflects not just what we're going to vote on tonight. That almost is the easy part of this. The harder part is really identifying and memorializing all the things that we heard, all the things that New Yorkers came to us with. And to me, that is a big testament to the talent and the focus of the staff that has been assembled. Yes, and they deserve a round of applause. So our executive director, Diane Savino, thank you. Our general counsel, Ed Kiernan, you've been on my left for all of this. Chief of Staff, where are you, Robert? Robert Cataldo, you're here somewhere.
He's working as usual.
Senior Counsel, Mark Heinrich. Communications Director, Frank Dwyer. I know Frank is back there. Our council team, Sabrina Hassan, Ivy Chu, and James Bristow. Our senior advisors, Bonnie Sang, Ryan Marola, Michael Clark, Krista Ashbury, Jonas Neri, Pablo Pacha de Leon, and Alex Timkiv. I gotta say, is Ryan here? Not yet. I just gotta say one thing about Ryan. He was our intern on the first charter commission that I did in 2010. So life has a good way of coming around.
Yes.
Special thanks to Leanne Wharton, Carrie Hudson, Chloe West, Jasmine Wright Green, Eden Ayala, and Hamza Suhail. And last but not least, a special thanks to the New York City Law Department for their counsel throughout the process, in particular, Spencer Fisher, Martha Alfaro, Benjamin Miller, Rachel Kane, Ian Sinclair, and Ashley Iodice. Let me now have the honor and the privilege to ask each of the commissioners present to introduce themselves and share any thoughts they may have before we proceed with the vote. I will say, when I was asked to do this, and I was told who my vice chair would be, I said, finally, I get to work closely, one-on-one with a lady who I think epitomizes New York City national leadership. If Dr. Hazel Dukes is with you, man, is she with you?
Yes.
But if she is not with you, oh boy, you better run for cover. Our vice chair, Dr. Hazel Dukes.
Yes. Thank you so much, Mr. Chairman. I really echo your sentiment about the diversity representing this charter commissioner members. I have the pleasure of knowing many of them and have worked with them in different capacities. I am 92 years of age. And yesterday on CBS, when they interviewed me to talk about the process of the Democratic Party, I've served 15 years on the National Democratic Committee. I was there when I second the nomination of Shirley Chisholm. So you know how excited I am about what's taking place in America today. But let me say about why I took time out of my busy schedule and have spent evenings and afternoons like today, because I love New York City. While I was not born here, I've been here most of my life. My dad was a Pullman porter, and I arrived when I was 11 years of age. So I do call it home, but I never forget Montgomery, Alabama, where I was born. And so let me say today to those of you who stopped from your son and enjoying your summer afternoon, this has been a part of my living to make sure that all people, regardless of race, creed, or color, or sexual orientation, I have given 47 years of my life fighting for the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, who just celebrated its 115th convention. So I have always, as I said yesterday on CBS, been about bringing people together, regardless to what you believe in and what faith. We all bleed red. Yes. And I love America. So much opportunities. And when I look back over my life and look at the history, to see how far we come and how far we have to go, where we can respect all people. As Martin Luther King said, if you, the sweet streeter, be the best. That's all I've asked people to do. I've never asked for anything more than respect and love for one another. So it's been my privilege, Mr. Chairman, to work with you
Thank you.
for the time that you've given and for 3 times of this. I don't think I won't be around for anymore.
I don't know that
But-
I will either.
But you have done a marvelous job at keeping us together, keeping us steady. And to the staff, you have been wonderful. You're giving us information, keeping us on the right track. I want to say thank you for that. To all of you who have come today, thank you for being a part of wanting to hear and raise your voice. This is what democracy is all about. Each man and woman and boy and girl should have a right to participate in their surroundings, where they live, where they go to school. It's all in our hands. So thank you for coming out today. Thank you, my fellow colleagues who have been with us out in Staten Island and places that I know Diane come from there. So she knows that I know all about Staten Island. So thank you again. And to those of you who come out this afternoon, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you, Vice Chair Dukes. Our secretary.
Good afternoon, everybody. I just wanted to take a moment and thank everyone here on the commission, the chair, the executive director, the vice chair. It's been a bit of a journey for us. We traveled throughout all the boroughs, and the important thing that what we were doing was listening to the people. People had a lot to say, and we listened. And listened carefully. We developed these proposal amendments that I think are logical, are fair. And I think there's nothing better than to put it on the ballot in November so that the people of the city can decide. And for that, I just want to thank everyone, working diligently and very diligently. So with that being said, I want to turn it back over to the chair and thank everybody.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. Commissioner Bragg, this is our second rodeo together. So I appreciate your service and your friendship.
Thank you, Chair. I'm Kyle Bragg, born not more than a half mile from here, or maybe a mile in Crown Heights. This is my second charter commission. I've had the privilege of serving with Carlo in 2018, I believe it was. This has been an incredible journey. First, it's been incredible because I got to work closely with people who, like myself, love this city and who've been active in making sure that the city becomes better in their everyday life and their work and their professions, and just as citizens who want to make sure that government works for all of us. Then coming and going through all the boroughs, which I don't normally get the opportunity to travel all our boroughs. I did as a kid when I used to barnstorm basketball throughout New York City. But to go to Staten Island, to the Bronx, to Manhattan, to Queens, come back here to Brooklyn, and to hear from people who experience government and experience the city in different ways based on the area in which you live, I think was very enlightening and very important. It's been said over and again that hearing from the citizens of this city about how how they engage government, how government engage them, and how to make sure that government works and operates to the best of its abilities for everyone, it makes this process so very important, and for me, so very enriching. So we also, I think, during this course of this commission, we've heard a lot about the timing of the commission, what's moving fast, what shouldn't move so fast, and it's not that we paid close attention to that. You'll see that in our final report, because we do understand that some things need more time and consideration. But I would say up front that what we will what will be put forth today in this final commission report is something that has been thought through very carefully. It's been put forth because we've heard from our brothers and sisters in the city about what's important to them and what's needed in this moment. So thank you for your time and consideration. Again, I want to thank the entire staff for their work. I want to thank my fellow commissioners for their dedication, their commitment, and being, taking a lot of grief sometimes as volunteers to do what's right by this city. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Lorraine Grillo.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I appreciate it. I'm not going to repeat everything because you've heard from the top people that I can think of, but I will say this. First of all, it's been an honor to serve with each and every one of you. It's been a pleasure to get to know each and every one of you. And I will tell you, to this audience and to anyone who's listening, these folks are truly dedicated to the city of New York. There are a couple of resolutions or proposals on the table that are particularly important to me, but I'm not going to get into them until we start to discuss them. So I just want to say thanks, and thanks again to the staff. They're fabulous.
Commissioner Grillo. Commissioner Lynch.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone. This is my borough, Brooklyn. So I would like to say, appreciate the given the opportunity being appointed to be one of the commissioners on this board. And it was a wonderful experience as traveling throughout the 5 boroughs and just hearing what regular citizens have to say and their opinions and their concerns were about in their communities and their boroughs. A lot of issues that did come up, they were pretty consistent. Some of them were new, but given the opportunity to hear from the citizens, it was a great experience just to hear and be given the opportunity to hear firsthand. Because as for myself, I would always say that no one spoke to me, no one heard my voice, no one heard my opinion. So given the opportunity to sit here on this commission and to hear your opinions from everyone and to be able to present my vote on what we have heard, what we have accumulated based on the input that we have heard, I'm elated to be a part of this procedure. And once again, what I also like to say, thank you to my fellow commissioners and being on this commission and working hard, diligently working hard to travel through the 5 boroughs. Thank you again, and look forward to serving on future commissions.
Thank you, sir. Commissioner McGraw.
Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, it has been such a pleasure and a joy. They said the joy is in the journey to be able to go around the 5 boroughs, and I'd like to thank God, of course. He gave us 2 ears and 1 mouth. And on this journey and being one of the commissioners, we were able to listen, because sometimes the greatest gift you can give to someone is just to listen to them. And that's what we did. And we heard the voices, we heard the people. I'm a citizen. I was born here in Brooklyn. I have served this great city of New York for over 20 years. And to be on this journey with the chair, co-chair, and to be with my sisters and my brothers, to serve our people, to hear our people is such an honor and a pleasure. And diversity is our strength. We are a city where there are over in every part of the world, anywhere in the world, you can find at least 1 of 2 of those nationalities in this country. This is the richest country, the diversity of the people, and to be here to hear the people, because freedom is about listening to your voice, speaking your voice, and being heard. So it has been an honor to be here as one of the commissioners. Real quick, remember when Ed called and said, Ms. McGraw, I said, well, you can call me Stephanie. I'm on my way. I got to swear you in. I'm like, I got to be sworn in. It was such a big deal. All of my staff, we were there, right? At my office, I'm being sworn in, but it is not only that. You know, we understand that some of these positions, people are sworn into duty, but I've been ordained to do this work for our people, for the people of New York, and it has been a pleasure and an pleasure and honor. And I'm so grateful to meet all these amazing commissioners from different walks of life. We all have, and that's what makes us so special. Our different walks of life, but we have all come together on one accord to make this city a better city, not just for me, but for all of us. So for that, I'm very grateful and thankful to be of service to New York City. Thank you.
Thank you very much. By the way, I didn't know you were from Brooklyn.
No, I was born in Brooklyn.
I didn't know that.
Kings County, baby.
Commissioner Rose.
Said now.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's really great to be here at this library. This was the library I went to growing up. Back in my day, Diane Savino, when you had to research things directly from the book, there's Google, right, Diane? Since I know you always turn to me for guidance. But look, it's been an incredible honor to be a part of this. Thank you all for being here today, because this is all about listening to the people. I would just say here that the significance of what we're voting on today, there's I think a beautiful element of it that's not final, right? We're voting on questions to be submitted to the people. And there's no, I think, more eloquent expression of democracy than that. It's impossible to make everyone happy whenever you're trying to act in areas of significance. And to those, irrespective of where you fall on any of the issues we're considering, we would urge you to continue to stay extraordinarily engaged over the coming months to make sure that the people's voices continue to be heard, which is what we principally care the most about. So thank you all today. And again, to my fellow commissioners, it's been an extraordinary honor.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Rose. Commissioner Roe Adams, I have to say, if we were giving an award out for who kept, I could speak for me energized at every meeting, it would be Jackie Roe Adams. So thank you for, I mean this, thank you for adding a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
Thank you.
Wow, that was good. So just, I just listening to my colleagues, I was getting emotional because in this short time, we became a family, and we became a family of the city and of the community. But I want to take the time and thank a man that really cared about the city, our very own Mayor Eric Adams, because he heard the voice of the people. And the people said, we need some hearings. We need to get a chance to let our voices be heard. We need to give us a chance that we could know what's going on in our city. And that's what he did. So thank you, Mayor Eric Adams, for that. I'm honored. I'm honored because I've learned so much myself. You think you learned stuff, but I've learned a lot being on this commission. And one of the things that I learned, a lot of things that I learned is people in their communities and in their districts care. If you think they don't care, some of you at each borough should have been to some of these hearings. I was impressed because they care. And they care about how they live. They care about the sanitation. They care about education. They care about public safety. And I learned that. And I'm grateful. So I want to thank my colleagues, all the other commissioners. I mean, we did a daunting job. Some days it was hard, but we came up with solutions, and we came up with things that's going on the ballot that I really know that the community and the city would appreciate and love. So what are the things, just when you go on the ballot, we have to spread the word and push it. and make sure we get the things that we need. So thank you, everyone. And the staff was just magnificent. The leadership call, you've been great. The co-chair, I mean, fantastic. I love, this is my mentor. And I want to say, this has really been a reunion, like, especially with Diane Savina. You know, she was a senator, but she also was a party leader. She was one of the leaders of DC 37. And that's how I met her. And she was the, as the kids could say, she was the bomb.com at, at DC 37. So it's been an honor and a pleasure to be here, and all in the bishop, everyone. So thank you, community. Thank you, city, for caring about what goes on in your city. And you know, I always said, that's the song that Marvin Gaye sang, What's Going On? And now you know. Thank you.
Was I right in my intro? All right. Thank you very much. Commissioner Seabrooks.
Good afternoon to all of you that are here today. First, I want to thank God for just allowing me to serve, and thank our great mayor of the city of New York to get a chance to hear the concerns of New Yorkers. And I think that this committee has done a wonderful job. I want to thank the chairman. I want to thank, guess what, the staff, because if anything from this, and especially my sister Jackie, who kept me informed through trying times, what I've learned is that people in this city don't want to be bitter. They just want to be better. And we want to serve to give people that opportunity where their voice is heard and they're assured of equality. So thank this committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Diaz Jr.
Boogie down, Bronx.
Afternoon, everyone. Greetings from the Boogie Down Bronx. It's good to be here in BK. I just want to say thank you, Mr. Chairman, to you. Just reiterate all of the accolades that have been given to Diane Savino and all of the staff, which is critical in getting us all of the materials that we need to get us all of the testimonies that were given throughout over a dozen and a half hearings throughout the city of New York. We were able to do so in a way where we did AM meetings and we did PM meetings, and we went to every single borough, and everyone who wanted to be heard was heard. And there were nights where even when folks didn't sign up, Mr. Chairman, you or whoever took your seat in your absence still made sure that whoever was either present or on the Zoom was heard. No one who wanted to speak, no one who wanted to be heard on their testimony, whether it was germane to the city charter or not, was denied that audience by this commission. That's I wanted to make that abundantly clear. To the audience here present, physically present, or out in Zoom, or whoever's going to hear this afterwards, anytime that you have to run an entity, whether it's your household, whether it's a business, or wherever we work, you have to have a set of rules or bylaws. And this wonderful corporation, this wonderful entity called New York City, its bylaws, its rules, its constitution is the New York City Charter. And this process of us reviewing the charter is something that every single individual who did not get paid a nickel, who's up here, took extremely serious, with a heavy weight in how we review this charter. And so much was brought to us in so many different areas in terms of budgeting, public safety. We've had wonderful debates and conversations about the balance or the imbalance of power from the mayor's office to the city council. And so how do we protect that balance? And how do we do it in a way where there's not an imbalance from one over the other? That's the way that you govern the city, and you do it in the right way. As a recovering politician, as a former Bronx Borough president, this um, this gave me the opportunity to revisit and to read, believe it or not, and it's on my cell phone, on my favorites, the New York City Charter. I hadn't done so since I was at Borough Hall, and I've been out of Borough Hall now 2 years. And so what we see with the city charter is that while it's magnificent, some of the things in there are things that were written in a different time, in a different era, with different people, different complexion of people, in a different zeitgeist or the mood of the city. And so this exercise only gives us but a few things that we are going to review and put on the ballot. The point is that New Yorkers moving forward, the Charter Revision Commission is something that needs to continue. And not only the members of the commissions who are selected by this mayor or the next mayor and beyond should hold it seriously, but so should New Yorkers. We should all collectively revisit and review how is it that we can make the charter stronger, especially with the way that times are changing, the way that technology is changing, the way that the complexity of the city is changing. And so for me, I feel honored. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and I thank the mayor for giving me the opportunity as a recovering politician to come back and do something with so much weight that allows me to give back not only to my borough, but to the city of New York. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I should add, Ruben, you and I got to know each other on my first commission when you were serving as borough president. So it's really been an honor to have you on. Okay, we are also joined by Commissioner Reverend Daughtry. If you'd like to give us a welcome, Commissioner.
Welcome,
All right.
everybody.
Thank you. So the purpose of today's meeting exactly is to discuss the ballot questions that, if adopted today by the commission, will be put before the voters at the November 2024 general election, as well as the proposed final report that reflects the full body of the commissioner's work. So the report, as I said earlier, is very comprehensive. It not only talks about the ballot proposals that we are going to vote on today, but really gives a rundown of what happened in the last few months. And I urge you all to read it. I also want to clarify again that after today, these proposals, if they are voted on today, go to the public. The public will decide on November 5th what changes happen. We don't decide it. No one decides it. New York voters will decide it, period. So any confusion, I hope that that is as clear as can be. This is true power to the people, true voices to the New Yorkers, and you will all decide what you want to do. The proposed legislation, ballot language, and proposed final report were all sent to the commissioners in advance of today's meeting for their careful review. The proposed legislation, ballot language, and proposed final report are now available to the members of the public on the commission's website. By law, this commission reviewed the entire city charter. And I think, as Ruben said earlier, it is a lot that is in this charter. The commission set out to explore ways to improve the way city government interacts with New Yorkers, with the goal of improving quality of life, adding transparency to ensure fiscal responsibility, and ensuring that all voices are heard on critical public safety measures. We have done this through an extensive and thoughtful process that included outreach to communities throughout the 5 boroughs of New York City. Just to put it in perspective, We held 12 public hearings, including issue forums on elections, public safety, and fiscal responsibility in all 5 boroughs. Over 700 New Yorkers have attended our hearings, and almost 250 have presented testimony, excuse me, on a variety of topics, either in person or via Zoom. And one of the differences from my last 2 commissions was the availability of Zoom, and that's been great. So let me reiterate, 12 public hearings, 5 boroughs, over 700 New Yorkers attending, almost 250 presenting testimony. On top of that, we have received over 2,000 emails, 2,000 plus, submitting testimony for the commission's consideration. That is true advocacy on the part of New Yorkers. And let me thank the members of the public and subject matter experts who came and testified, who gave us their opinions, and who shared some of their knowledge. At our meeting on June 26th, the commission discussed several proposals related to public safety, fiscal responsibility, government contracting, and government modernization. And we voted on a resolution directing the staff of the commission to prepare the final report containing these proposals. The commission also discussed recommendations for future charter revision commissions. So what does that mean? We heard a lot. We heard so many great ideas, so many critical things that can help government in the future. But we can't do it all. We just cannot do it all. So in our report, you will see a whole section on issues and ideas that we believe require and deserve future consideration by the next charter commissions. Those include election reform, procurement process improvements, and genuine support for community boards. These proposals have been drafted, including the ballot questions and abstracts, and the report was prepared by the staff. Commissioners have reviewed the draft proposals and the proposed final report. And again, I say thank you to the staff. It is a truly comprehensive report. Let me now invite our Executive Director Savino to read each of the 5 ballot proposals before we vote on the ballot proposals in the final report. So the way we are going to do it is we will vote on each proposal individually, and then we will vote on the report and a final resolution. There will be a motion on each ballot question, and after the motion is seconded, discussions can be held. Now, discussions are not required, but commissioners have a right to discuss. Yep, sorry, I think I was reading yours. No, so I'm good. Okay. After the discussion, I, as the chair, will ask for a roll call vote on each ballot question. I think the roll call is critical so that we can really get everybody's vote on the record. After each of the votes on the 5 ballot questions, we will then have a roll call vote on the final report. Sounds like a lot, and it is. Finally, I will call for a roll call vote on the commission resolution that delegates the staff the responsibility for filing these materials with the city clerk and taking other technical actions to make sure that proposals appear on the ballot on November 5th, 2024, and importantly, that voters are educated about the proposal. Diane Savino.
Thank you. Thank you, Chair. Yes. So we're going to move forward with ballot proposal number 1. The title is Cleaning Public Property. This proposal would amend the city charter to expand and clarify the Department of Sanitation's power to clean streets and other city property and require disposal of waste in containers. Voting yes will expand and clarify the Department of Sanitation's power to clean streets and other city property and require disposal of waste in containers. Voting no leaves laws unchanged.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to vote on the first ballot proposal. Do I have a motion? Yes, sir.
Motion.
Let
After
me
it's
do
been
the motion,
seconded.
and then we're going to open it for
Motion.
discussion. So Jackie Rowe Adams moved.
Moved.
Do we have a second?
Second,
Second from
Moved
our
and
vice
seconded.
chair. Now we will go to discussion. Let me call on Jackie Rowe Adams first.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to make sure that we add a clarification to the sanitation section about vendor enforcement and cleaning of parks. Parks, NYPD, and other agencies will continue to perform their critical responsibilities here. Sanitation will help enforce vending in the parks, but parks will continue to have responsibility over vending in parks and the cleaning of parks. Nothing about this change is intended to impact parks staffing levels. And that is so important to me because I am a former parker.
Right.
So no, so we will not, it is not intended to impact parks staffing levels. So I just want to make that clear.
Thank you for that clarification. Commissioner Diaz.
To make sure that we've had a lot of discussions over this, but the people sitting here or people listening now may not. I just think that it merits just saying why this is necessary. Why did we take this up? What is the issue that we're trying to resolve? And that's it. I just think it should be put out there. Because Jackie Rowe Adams says it's not intended to do this or that with parks, but you know, so I just think people need a little bit of clarity why we want to do this. And I'm not saying that because I'm opposed to it. I'm just saying because we all want cleaner streets and we all want, but just what's the issue? What is resolving it, and why do we need to have this clarification for sanitation in the city charter?
Thank you, Commissioner Diaz. For those of you who have been able to take a look at the report, you'll see along with the ballot question, there's also an abstract, which gives a history of the Department of Sanitation and its and how it's responsible for the cleanliness of New York streets and the disposal of waste. The current city charter, though, grants the DSNY commissioner the power to adopt regulations relating to the use of sidewalks for disposal of refuse and to issue violations for failure to comply with some regulations punishable by fine, imprisonment, or civil penalty. The charter currently does not expressly set forth any requirement for containerization, which, as you know, the city right now is actively engaged in moving to containerization of waste in an effort to, if nothing else, rid this city of rats. There are other issues that have come up over there are sections of city property that we refer to as no man's lands. No agency is responsible for cleaning them. Sometimes they're highway medians. They are these little triangles of property that no city agency can clean. And sanitation is not actually allowed to clean. It is the one agency that has the charter mandate to clean, but in these properties, they're not allowed to. So this charter cleanup, no pun intended, will grant the mayor the ability to designate the Department of Sanitation to perform cleanliness services in those sections. And also to do vending enforcement in the parks. Right now, PEP officers, as Commissioner Rowe Adams talked about, will continue to do that, but sanitation will have concurrent authority to additionally do that, the same way the NYPD does to issue summonses for street vending.
Thank you for that. And the reason why I do that is because if you understand the history of the city, while we all complain now about whether or not things are dirty or not, we have a history of uncleanliness dating back over 100, 150 years. And the city tries and people complain and elected officials throughout all that time try to do constituent services. And sometimes the public may say, well, number one, you're not doing anything about it, Or number two, why do we need this as an option? You know, isn't it like, isn't it, sort of apparent that we can do this? Quite often the public may not know that there are things that hinder an agency from doing the public good. And so this ballot question, once and for all, puts clarity to that as to whose jurisdiction is over what, so that elected officials and city agencies can do what the public deserves. That's why.
Thank you. Is there any additional discussion? Okay, I will now call the question. And you can answer yes or no. Correct? Simple.
Yeah.
Vice Chair Dukes,
Yes.
Secretary. I'm just gonna call your last names, by the way. I'm gonna be a little, Bragg,
Yes.
Daughtry,
Yes.
Diaz,
C.
Grillo, Lynch, McGraw, Rose,
Yes.
Rowe Adams, Seabrooks,
Yes.
and I vote yes. The question passes unanimously. Thank you. And it is a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstention. The proposal to put forth a ballot proposal relating to cleaning public property has passed. We will now vote on ballot proposal number 2, and first hear the ballot and the proposal read by our executive director.
Thank you, Commissioner. So ballot proposal number 2, title, Additional Estimates of the Cost of Proposed Laws and Updates to Budget Deadlines. This proposal would amend the city charter to require fiscal analysis from the council before hearings and votes on laws. It would authorize fiscal analysis from the mayor and update budget deadlines. Voting yes would amend the city charter to require additional fiscal analysis prior to hearings and vote on local laws and update budget deadlines. Voting no leaves laws unchanged.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to vote on the second ballot proposal. Do I have a motion? Commissioner Grillo. Thank you. May I have a second? Commissioner Adams. Do we have any discussion? And I just want to clarify, today is it is not a public hearing. Our last public hearing was on Monday. Today is a meeting of the commissioners that is done publicly. We do not do anything publicly. Yes, Commissioner McGraw. Many years ago, it was, yeah, several years ago. I appreciate it. And it's something worth discussing further in the future. And I think one of the one of the tasks that we will vote on is to give direction to educate the public on what is going on. Is there any other discussion on the second ballot question motion? Okay, I will call the question. Dukes. Nye. Bragg. Daughtry. Diaz.
C.
Grillo. Lynch. McGraw. Rose. Rowe Adams.
Yes.
Seabrooks.
Yes.
And I vote yes. 12 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions to put forth a ballot proposal relating to additional estimates of the cost of proposed laws and updates to budget deadlines has passed. I would say this, I urge anyone who has questions on this to read the report section on this. It is a very technical item that is not as profound as it sounds, and that's why I say read the wording and you will see exactly what it says.
But Mr. Chairman, I
Yes,
would
ma'am.
like to say that we did have experts
Oh,
to
absolutely.
come in from city agencies, and the controller of the city of New York came in, and we listened and we heard their report. It is complex,
Correct.
as Ms. McGough said, but you have to read this, and this is what we spent our summer,
Yep.
not at the beach.
Exactly. Exactly.
We're gonna
And we
read all the
list,
materials.
and we list
Uh,
all of the folks who came in to testify.
Right.
We will now vote on ballot proposal number 3 and hear the ballot and the proposal read by our executive director.
Thank you, Commissioner. Ballot proposal number 3, the title is More Input on Public Safety Legislation. This proposal would require additional public notice and time before the city council votes on laws respecting the public safety operations of the police, correction, or fire departments. Voting yes will require additional notice and time before the council votes on laws respecting public safety operations of the police, correction, or fire departments. Voting no leaves laws unchanged.
Thank you. So let me just speak for a minute about this. Since the proposed final report and the ballot proposals were released on Tuesday, we have heard many comments from the public and others regarding this specific proposal. Taking into consideration the responses we have received, I have directed the staff to draft an amended proposal that would limit the requirements placed on the city council while retaining the mayor's and commissioner's ability to hold public hearings on critical public safety legislation as is permitted currently by state law. The revised charter language amendment and ballot question abstract were shared with the commissioners at the beginning of this meeting. I would like, and by the way, it's on the website now and you could read the updated proposal. I would like to make a motion to substitute the new charter language and abstract and to have them considered for a vote in place of those contained in the proposed final report. Is there a second to my motion?
Second,
second the
Mr.
motion.
Chairman.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Commissioner Diaz.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, are you saying that your amendment version comes as a result of you listening to city council members coming before this commission?
We listened to a lot of people, including members of the city council,
And you took that into consideration?
including other folks that we spoke to. And
And the amendment, I'm sorry, sir, but the amendment specifically speaks to some of the concerns of the community and the city council
I believe it does.
in the favor of those concerns.
I think we took it to their concerns and we made some changes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
You can read them.
So they are in the report. Do we have?
This,
Okay, so let me reiterate. These changes are in the report that is public. It is on the website. Yes.
Who is that speaking?
Do we have it here?
Is that?
no, what I read was the ballot question. That will not change. What will change, right, the ballot question, right. What I read will not change. What will change is if you had looked at the final report, the final proposed report that was online, that proposal has changed to reflect, let me just finish the point. That proposal has changed to reflect the information that we received, and we've made some changes. So excuse
We are
me,
going to
This is
read
not-
it now.
we're not taking questions from the audience, but we're going to read it out to you. This amendment would establish additional procedural requirements before the council votes on proposed local laws respecting the public safety operations of 3 city agencies: the police department, the Department of Correction, or fire department. Prior to a vote by the full council or on a covered public safety proposal, the council would be required to give an additional notice to the public, the mayor, and the commissioner of each affected agency at least 30 days in advance of such vote. The mayor and affected agencies could use the period between such notice and such vote to hold one or more additional public hearings on the proposal in order to solicit additional public input. The mayor could waive the additional procedures imposed by this amendment. That is a marked difference from the earlier proposal, which had up to almost 90 days. It first would have triggered a 45-day notice for the intent of the introduction of the bill, and then another 45-day notice. We have struck that first notice. Nothing changes. Whatever the council does now with introduction of bills stays the same. It would only be for the notice of the vote, would trigger a 30-day notice to the mayor and the agencies and allow for a public hearing. So that is a substantial change from what you had seen earlier on the proposed draft report.
Thank you, Executive Director Savino. Max Rose, you had a question.
Yeah, I think it's just important to clarify something. So I'll just ask the question. Is there anything in this that restricts the ability of the city council to enact public safety related legislation, or does it just,
Absolutely not.
it's just pauses it briefly?
No,
or-
all it does is say, when the council is going to propose this legislation, it adds a 30-day period where there can be hearings.
So it delays, for all intents and purposes, it delays legislation by 30 days to further inform
Well,
the
I
process.
would respectfully disagree with the word delay. I would say it adds a 30-day window for a public hearing to happen.
Right. And, but it doesn't restrict the underlying legislation.
No.
Nothing. So all we are doing is saying there should be a notice with 30 days to potentially have a hearing.
Again, this is not a, right.
It's all in the report that is publicly. Yes, Commissioner.
In regards to this, proposal, I think any proposal that helps to give more discourse an opportunity to be heard from citizens of the city on proposed legislation is good work. It's important that the citizens of the city have an opportunity to express their concerns about legislation. And if this proposal promotes more discourse, more conversation, more opportunity for citizens to express their opinions, because as I said in my opening statement, citizens of the city engage government differently depending on which community you live in and the work of the government or the agencies that you engage with. And so I think having the opportunity to allow citizens to express their concerns or their approval or their opinions about proposed legislation is a good thing. It can't be a bad thing to create greater discourse. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Daughtry. Commissioner Daughtry.
Thank you. I'm still unclear. Always saying that the public plus the commission, the council have reviewed the changes. And what we are presenting is the substance of their input or having had opportunity to discuss it, and they agree with what we are presenting as the final document to be presented to the public.
Thank you. So I'm going to clarify it one more time, just so that everyone ensures that at least that the commission understands. And it is in the proposed draft report, final report, and it is online. So once there is a desire by the council to have legislation, There is a 30-day notice that is given. During that 30-day notice, there can be hearings, or the mayor and others may choose not to. And then the council will vote on their proposal as they always do. There is no change to anything. It is not limiting the council. It is not making any changes other than adding a 30-day opportunity for people's voices to be heard. Is there any other discussion? Okay, I will now call the question. Dukes,
Yes.
Nye, Bragg, Daughtry,
Yes.
Diaz, Grillo, Lynch, McGraw, Rose, Rowe Adams, Seabrooks. And I vote yes by a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions. The proposal to put forth a ballot proposal relating to more input on public safety legislation has passed. We will now vote on ballot proposal number 4 and hear the ballot and proposal read by our executive director.
Thank you. Ballot proposal number 4, titled Capital Planning. This proposal would amend the city charter to require more detail in the annual assessment of city facilities, mandate that facility needs inform capital planning, and update capital planning deadlines. Voting yes would require more detail when assessing maintenance needs of city facilities, mandate that facility needs inform capital planning, and update capital planning deadlines. Voting no leaves laws unchanged.
Thank you. So let me just give a little clarification on this, because there seems to have been some confusion. The additional information collected here would be for all city facilities. As we say in the capital planning abstract on page 102 of the draft final report, the city for the statement of needs will collect, quote, information related to maintenance needs, like the condition, function, and estimated useful life of all city facilities to the extent practicable. So what does this do? It will make the statement of needs a more comprehensive document covering many more facilities than it currently does. Why did we do it? Why is this important? So we chose to modify the statement of needs to be more inclusive of all city facilities. These changes give the public information about all public facilities to show how funding decisions are made. By contrast, if the change had been made in the 10-year capital strategy, it would only have been information on funded projects and not on the entire city pipeline. And I think that is important for the public. So I will now entertain a motion to vote on the 4th ballot proposal. Do I have a motion? Thank you, Commissioner Seabrooks. May I have a second? Commissioner Grillo, thank you. Yeah, we're going to have a discussion now. Well, it was one of the controller's action items. It was one of them, the capital piece of it, and then it made sense. Okay, I will now call the question. Dukes,
Yes.
Nye, Bragg, Daughtry, Diaz, Grillo, Lynch, McGraw, Rose, Rowe Adams,
Yes.
Seabrooks.
Yes.
And I vote yes by a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The proposal to put forth a ballot proposal relating to capital planning has passed. We will now vote on ballot proposal number 5 and hear the ballot and the proposal read by our executive director.
Thank you. Ballot proposal number 5, titled Minority and Women-Owned Business Enterprises, Film Permits and Archive Review Boards. This proposal would amend the city charter to establish the Chief Business Diversity Officer, the CBDO, authorize the mayor to designate that the office that issues film permits and combine archive boards. Voting yes would establish the CBDO to support MWBEs, authorize the mayor to designate the office that issues film permits and combine two boards. Voting no leaves the laws unchanged.
Thank you. I will now entertain a motion to vote on the fifth ballot proposal. Do I have a motion? Bragg, do I have a second? Is there any discussion on this? I will just say that I am very excited, particularly about the Chief Diversity Officer becoming a real part of the charter and to really assist firms across the city. Is there any other discussion on this? Yes, Commissioner Bragg.
I would just say that in my, making the motion to accept this proposal, that this is a necessary first step, that there must be more work done to create equity amongst MWBEs in this city and to give someone the authority to make sure that that happens. But we did not have enough time to address that in this commission, but I think this is a very good preliminary step into moving in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. I will now, is there any other discussion from the commissioners? I will now call the question. Dukes? Oh, I'm sorry. Did you have a question?
Throughout experience, we heard a lot of
Thank you. We have had, I think, 2+ hearings on MWBE, on a chief diversity officer, and on all of that. And we had 3. Thank you, Ryan. By the way, I mentioned that you were our intern on my first charter commission. We have heard testimony from MWBE firms, from leadership on MWBE, from Michael Garner, and from others. This is, as someone who in my professional career works with MWBE firms every day, as did Commissioner Grillo and others, this is a significant step forward, as Kyle Bragg said, to ensuring the fairness and the competition for firms that are MWBE. And I think it is all of our hope that we will continue and that the city in the future will create a true agency to coordinate it all. But this is an important step forward. I will now call the question. Dukes?
Yes.
Nye? Bragg? Daughtry?
Yes.
Diaz?
See,
Grillo? Lynch? McGraw? Rose? Roe Adams?
Yes.
Seabrooks? And I vote yes with a capital Y, capital E, and capital S. By a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstention, the proposal to put forth a ballot proposal relating to minority and women-owned business enterprises, MWBEs, fill permits, and archive review boards has passed. I'm now going to ask from, and by the way, thank you, commissioners, because these are important questions that continue to move the city forward. And I just want to stress again, for those of you that have not, please read the section on future ideas, because there is so much more work to be done. And it is our hope that future commissions will look at all of this. I'm now going to ask for a motion to accept and approve the final report as amended with the amendments that were presented at today's meeting, which contains the 5 proposals already voted on, summaries of the proposals, ballot questions, and abstracts and the text amendments to the New York City Charter. The report also includes an introduction with backgrounds on the commission and its members, on the process, and as I said, as well as important recommendations for future charter revision commissions. May I have a motion to approve the final report?
Motion.
Thank you. C. Brooks. May I have a second? Bragg, thank you. Is there any discussion on this? I will now call the question. Dukes,
Yes.
Nye, Bragg, Daughtry, Diaz, Grillo, Lynch, McGraw, Rose, Rowe Adams,
Yes.
Seabrooks, and I vote yes as well. By a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, and 0 abstentions, the final report has been approved. I will now seek a motion to approve a resolution that directs the staff to take the appropriate actions to deliver materials to the city clerk in order for the ballot questions to be placed before the voters and to take whatever action they deem necessary to educate the public about the ballot questions. Commissioner McGraw, in terms of your question, it is important that the public understand what these questions are. Commissioners were sent this resolution in advance and have had the chance to review it. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
Motion.
Commissioner Dukes, second. Commissioner McGraw. Is there any discussion on this? I will now call the question. Dukes,
Yes.
Nye, Bragg, Daughtry, Diaz, Grillo, Lynch, McGraw, Rose, Rowe Adams, Seabrooks, and I vote yes by a count of 12 in favor, 0 opposed, 0 abstentions. The resolution has been approved. Now, before we wrap up, I would like to make a motion to approve the minutes for our meeting held on July 22nd, 2024 in Queens, which we shared with all of you earlier this week. May I have and I made that motion. Is there a second? Second, who seconded? Lorraine Grillo. I'm going to call a voice vote. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes 12-0. Not sure why anybody would boo minutes, but why not? I would also like to ask the commission for unanimous consent to approve the minutes of this meeting after they have been distributed to you and that you have had an opportunity to offer any correction or comments. I will direct the staff to share the minutes by email, and you will have the opportunity to make any edits. After 2 weeks, we will incorporate any revisions, and I will approve the minutes. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Thank you very much. I want to again thank all of the commissioners and the staff for their time and dedication. I will reiterate, it is up to the public on November 5th to vote. Great. I look forward to working with you and share the work of the commission and to educate the public about what we have voted on and what will appear on the ballot. I thank the over 2,000 New Yorkers who submitted testimony. I thank the over 700 New Yorkers who came to meetings, meetings that have been on websites, social media, public notices since May. And I thank everyone again for their commitment. I would like to ask for a motion to adjourn today's meeting. Second from Commissioner McGraw. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstentions? Any noes? Have a wonderful day. The motion passes. Have the wonderful rest of the summer, everyone. Thank you.
In November.
In November, you want to vote? Yeah,
Yeah.
vote. Yeah, if you don't
Yeah,
want to
so
vote,
we
don't
just
vote.